Brexit is like shaking the table where the fragile thing is standing, like a figure. And it could break, of course, but on the other hand, perhaps this is the time to move it somewhere else, think about different architecture. So I think the Brexit, with all negative consequences, it's actually making us thinking already that, well, status quo is not going to work. So I treat it as a wake-up call, and I'm sure that if we understand it well, the meaning of the Brexit, if we understand well, it's going to work. I mean, because we needed the serious wake-up call. And Brexit is short of war inside the EU. I think the leaving of the particular country or the complete collapse of the economy actually is the closest to the really loud wake-up call. I think part of the solution is what I mentioned, including nations inside the European projects, not reject them, and that realization that unfortunately the respective national elites from the governments didn't stand up to the challenges they had, and this is the time for the citizens who want to save the EU to take action. And I think this is the time to move from the European project as a kind of restraints on the will of the people, on the national states, to what it was at the very beginning, even before the creation of the EU. So it was the vision, the idea of the peaceful continents of nations living together, people living together, prospering together. So we should take away the EU from the bureaucrats and give it back to the people. And I think this is possible, but not necessarily through the elites that we have today. I think this is perhaps one of the biggest challenges for liberalism that was ever created, because today we see that certain restrictions on the democratic will are considered as illegitimate. For example, the problem from my very own country, the rule of law, is considered as something that restrains the will of democratically elected government. So very basic fundamentals of the liberal ideas you see shaken, because it's not just the Polish case, all around EU, almost everywhere. The tolerance, acceptance of the other people of different color, or the basic freedoms that we have in Europe, so are under threat. There is a problem that liberalism, I think, has to look for the new legitimization, because people don't really, maybe they take it for granted, but they don't really accept the different sources of legitimization than direct elections. And liberalism actually is not naturally an ally of democracy, because very often we saw democracy going against liberal values. Too often, and I don't want to mention it, it ended up really badly. So I think there is time for liberalism to reinvent itself and to prove that this is not only some kind of historical set of values that we all now accept, and that that belongs to the past. And very important for liberalism is to prove that it's not just defending like the big corporations all around the world, but this is defending the people against the forces of globalization, defending against the will of government, who can actually invigilate us and lock us in prisons. That actually liberalism stands up for the people, for the individual person, and liberalism has to prove it. And I think there is not a better time than to do it today. I mean, start today, but we cannot continue as we did, because as you see, it's not working.